Hello everyone, Teresa here, and we're going to build us a longitudinal project. We're going to start by going to My Projects, and we're going to create our new project. Here we will give our title. Make sure that you are following the rules of how your title is put together. We're going to call it a practice or just for fun. And I'm going to show you later on how to assign it to a project and make sure you add some type of project notes. We're going to create our project. Now I am going to start with a kind of a project that I already have developed from the standpoint of a data dictionary. And I will provide this for you in the event you want to follow what I'm doing. But let me I'm going to take a look at it really quickly here and assess the situation. I did attempt to go through it ahead of time, and I am anticipating a few things that are not going to work, but hopefully we get 99% of the items working. So it's a pretty big project, and it has a lot of items in it that would be a good fit for a longitudinal study. And in this particular scenario, I'm going to pretend that it is um, a an intervention study, a drug intervention study, which if you were doing a drug intervention, there would be a lot more than just this, but it's at least a good starting point. Now we will be using surveys in this one, so we need to enable the surveys, and we are going to use the longitudinal data sets. So we are done with that. We're going to start by going to our data dictionary, and we're going to upload the file that, well, I'm going to start that way. You are welcome to either use mine or make your own. Okay, so let's go take a look at what we've got. We've got a landing page, a vaccination card, a visit documentation, ConMeds, med history, blood sample, physical exam, end of visit checklist, adverse events, protocol deviations, study notes, participant handouts, diary 1, 2, 3, and record technician. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn on our surveys for the pieces that, let's see here, the pieces that the participant would fill out. So I'm going to make it custom numbered. Uh, you guys can do this however you want to do this. It's perfectly fine. Oh wait, I do want it to auto-populate, and I want it to override all other options on this one. So I'm going to say yes to auto-populating on that one. I want the participant to fill out I want them to have their participant handout. Now, I don't have a consent form built into this one. A lot of projects that are kind of like this, the consent form would be outside of um, the participant database, but some people put it in. I am going to make this allow for a return later for my participant handout pages, because I want my participant to be able to get to their documents at any time. And so that's what I'm going to do for that one. I need to enable their diaries. Oh, I got to remember to do this. I keep forgetting that. It's a funny little button. And it's pretty basic. I don't want a lot of bells and whistles here. Oops, wrong button. And I'm just going to turn on all of these diaries. And then this is my last diary. And I am a stickler for making it look the way I want it to look. So let's get us a logo. And I'm going to make mine the REDCap logo. And then I want to copy it to all of it, because I think that when your participant has something lovely to look at, they're more likely to participate and come back, and that's what I want. Okay, so save those. Now let's go ahead and turn on the survey queue because, okay, what's going on here? Huh. I feel like my instance is on a new version or something. 10.6.13. Hmm. Okay. We'll make the landing page. I don't want it to show up in here, but I do want this to show up after the landing page. And it's already going to auto start. Keep the survey queue hidden from participants. This setting, force the auto start to engage. This box is a new box that I'm not familiar with. But basically it's similar to the auto override for the survey queue, but doesn't allow the survey queue to populate. So they must have taken the auto continue and they added it on that function here also. I'm assuming that that was a consequence of people being frustrated. So I want this to show up after each of the landing pages. And I'm going to make an assumption that my participants are not going to be very like with the program and maybe they won't do the diary the day they're supposed to, but perhaps they'll like do day 1 tomorrow when they were supposed to do day 2. So I'm just going to leave it so they can choose to open it and when they choose to open it. And I am super happy with the look and feel of those. I want all of these to be data forms. Okay, so let's check for identifiers. Um, looks like we have, this has a date of birth attached to it, so we got to be careful with that one. And those are not going to populate down. I shouldn't have any more identifiers built in down here. Oh, there's something here that's a note. That's a date. That's not really an identifier in this particular case, but it's okay. We'll leave it. Okay, looks good to me. I'm happy. Okay, update the identifiers. That's good. And let's go to our project setup. And I'm going to call that one done. So we have in this project smart variables, piping, there are action tags built in, and we have field embedding. So if you are still a little confused or unfamiliar with those, go look inside your fields for the different examples that are like that and see how I've done that. And please, please, please reach out if you need assistance with that stuff. We need to define our events now. We're actually going to have 2 cohorts. So our first cohort, let's rename it. Instead of arm 1, we're going to call this intervention, right? So this is the drug group. And our second arm, we're going to name control, our control group. So we have an intervention group and a control group. And I want you to rename this. Do not leave the default name. Although I would normally leave the default name, but I want to make sure that you do this. Visit 1 is going to be first, and I want a custom label. Okay, I'm going to do something a little tricky here. I'm going to right click on my code book and I'm going to open it in a brand new window so that I can go back and forth between my code book and my uh, designate event item. So I'm going to create a custom event label field. This is optional, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So here in the example, they have visit date and wait. I want to come in here for the landing page and I want to grab my visit date. So this is the name that I'm going to have so I can know that the date that the person came. And so I'm just going to pipe it in right there like that. Okay, so now we need to save that and we're going to add another one, visit 2. And same thing, I'm going to pipe in my date and then visit 3 and pipe in my date. And I need another one that is just, this is my additional one for my circular ones. And I don't have an optional field for that one. Okay. So that's what it's going to look like today. For my control, we're going to have visit 1 and the date and forms. So this person doesn't have to come more than once, which is really nice. But you know what? Since they don't have to come more than once, the forms will just make it into their one. So they get 1 event. That's what we'll do. Okay. Um, if you get savvy with having to build this out, you can upload and download your arms and your events right here. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we got to go to the top, and it tells me in great big black letters, don't forget to designate my instruments. I have a tendency to forget to do this. So I created my events. The next thing is we have to designate our instruments. We got to say which instruments occur at which event. So let's start with one of our arms. We'll start with arm 1. And okay, so this here is a tricky thing. So if when you are in what's this what is this called, when you're in development mode, you can not you can begin editing, and you can click on these and turn them on and off to your heart's delight. It's okay. The minute you put it into production, you can click on begin editing and you can add one. You are not able to remove one. And there's a very important reason. If you recall, on more than one occasion, I have mentioned orphaning data. This is the number one way that you orphan data, is by having an item that is clicked and then you unclick it. So then there's data that's just floating out there in the database, and it's no longer attached to your event name and your instrument, and it doesn't know where to go. So it's kind of like a whole bunch of apples that don't know that they're supposed to be in the produce section. Okay, so I'm going to start by selecting all. I don't really want them all selected. So I want the person to complete this on this day only. Oh, wait a minute. No, they got to be vaccinated more than once. So let's put that in our forms. Not going to have visit documentation there. ConMeds will only, it's going to be a repeatable, and it's only going to be at the end on the forms page. Blood samples are anytime. Physical exam would be anytime. End of visit anytime. Adverse events, it could happen. We want to be able to, adverse events is a tricky one. Some people like to put it like every single event you would have your own AE page, but um, I used to build them that way, but the clinic teams, they need to be able to assess an AE form across more than one event. And so what I'm doing here by creating this form page is I'm going to give them the ability to have to manage it in the bottom part of the record homepage. And it's a little bit easier for the clinic teams to execute the study. It honestly doesn't matter to me when it comes to the back end of cleaning the data up, because you're gonna put a date with each of those. And so there's some things you're better off working with your teams for. So this is one of them. And let's see here, like this. They would do diaries on 1, 2, and 3, but they don't need to do them. So we're just going to pretend they got dosed on 1 only. And then the nurse would review on 1, or clinician, or whoever's doing that. Okay, so that's going to be my look and feel, and you're going to see in just a minute the ones that are forms are over here, not all of them, but some of them. I am going to come in here and I'm going to make these repeatable instruments. I do not have any repeatable events in here. I wonder if I need to put one in here for you to be able to see what that looks like. I better do that. Darn it all. Okay, define events, and I'm going to say an extra. Okay. Whoops. I went to the wrong place. Okay, I'm back in my designate my instruments. Here's my extra. I'm going to begin editing and I'm going to pretend that it's an extra visit. So let's say someone came off schedule. They wouldn't do that. Okay, yep, that's good. And then I'll give you a repeatable event there so that you can see what that looks like. Now our control person, they only get one. Yay! They're a control person. They don't need to do everything. I don't care about their meds because they're going to be healthy. I don't care about their med history because they're healthy. I don't care about their blood samples because they're healthy. I guess we got to give them an AE. Darn it all. Okay, there. That's still a lot of forms to fill out. Okay. I'll make it work that way. Lovely. Okay, we're going to go back to our project setup. We have now created our events and we've created our instruments. We are going to enable some repeatable forms now. So you got to pay attention here. We always start with our first arm. In this case, it was the intervention arm. So visit one, arm one, and we have, do we have anything repeating in here? No, none of this repeats. So nothing repeats there. If you accidentally, like if you go like that, I'm sorry, if you go like that and you have nothing clicked here, um, it's going to give you an error down here at the bottom when you hit save. So if you see this error, it's probably because you have one of these highlighted by accident. So I'm going to say not repeating. Does this one get a repeater? This one does not get a repeater. Does this one? Nope. Does this one? Yes. Okay. This one gets these guys right here are repeaters. Not that one. Okay, and I want to be able to give a specialty items here. I'm going to collapse all these instruments and I just want to see, so here's the SARS vaccine. Let's see what I would give. So I probably would say dose here because they would want to know the dose. And then I'm going to put a space. So it's the first, second, third dose. And then I probably would say the type of drug it is, right? And then I'd put another space and I'd probably give the date, start date of medical condition event. Nope, that is, nope, 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 nope. Let's see here. Vaccine date, date of vaccine. So let's try this one. And so that's how I would normally do it for my nurses. But I do talk to them and the coordinators and the nurses and the docs. They tell me what they would want to see there. But that would be a very typical thing I would expect to see. So ConMeds for that, usually they want it basic here. Less is more in these fields, by the way. So I'm just going to put the script name on this one because that's really all they would want to see. This is like your little table header. I'm going to show you in a minute, and it's all going to make perfect sense after you visually see it. So here's the diagnosis. It's called condition. So in this case, I want to call this condition. The AE event, I gave them a title in here so that they can label their whatever the event is, what they want to call the event. So that's, and then I did the same thing in the PE for them. So sorry, not PE, the PD, the protocol deviation. Tabs are not good. That's not friendly. And I also, this study note is a, it was a special request from, which, was a really smart idea after the fact. I thought, man, why didn't I think of that ahead of time? But a lot of these things are specialty things I've just learned over the years that the clinic teams like. Okay, so for my extra, this is the one that's going to be the entire event. In the event, there's an extra visit. And now we go to control arm 2, and we want to repeat the SARS vaccine because it's the only one that would be like a repeated item. And oh wait, darn it. Okay. I have there's nothing that is happening in this particular study for a control person that would be that's going to get them an AE. I mean, they're not having anything done to them. So, but build it out because you never know. For my fake one here, I'm going to enable my email because I don't want to get in a situation where that's not done. Schedule module, longitudinal only. I'm gonna be honest. I don't ever use this calendar function. I know a few people that do. It is the few times I've used it, it was disastrous for me. However, Rob Taylor, who is REDCap's developer at our recent REDCap conference, mentioned that they are building an entirely new calendar function and it's coming out in version 12. So that is going to be quite a while, probably a year out for everybody that's on this call. Um, but supposedly the new calendar function is going to do all kinds of things that people expect the scheduling function to do that it doesn't really do. And we're not randomizing either, so we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so we do want a custom record because I'm going to try to show you how I would manage this study this time around. And so let's get our subject ID and um, let's see here. Yeah, I think that's probably good enough. Uh, if you are like, you know what, we can also put the person's name out. If you are sharing the screen with a bunch of like different people, you shouldn't have MRN or PHI putting like out there. But if you are if that's not the case, if you're just keeping it internal, then sometimes the name of the participant can help your team identify what record they need to be in. Okay, so then I'm going to have a secondary unique identifier so that I can show you what that looks like, and it is my subject ID. Oh, wait a minute. Display the value of the second. Okay, so I don't want to do it twice. That would be redundant. So I'm going to get rid of it there, and I'm going to have it here. Display the field label. So I'm going to say yes to both of those right now and see how that goes for me. Order the records by another field. Like, do I want them to be in a different order? You cannot do this for longitudinal projects like this one. So that's not an option for me. I do want the comment field. We're not using a PDF, so I don't need to worry about that. I have no missing codes that I'm going to be capturing. Let's see here. I usually keep these turned on. I like all of those options. Require a reason for change. This would be a very typical thing for this type of project. I'm not going to do it today because I don't want to deal with it. And a data entry trigger is another thing that would be commonly used for this type of project. Unfortunately, I can't show you Twilio because it doesn't work at the moment in the training instance, but that's okay. We're going to call that done. We're not doing bookmarks this time. I showed you how to do that last time, and that's going to be that. Um, let's make ourselves a role. And this person is going to get full access to the data, but not to any other rights. And let's see here. They are going to be able to log and they can execute rules, but they can't make rules. And they cannot do any of those things, and that's fine. All of those things are fine. So this is a data entry person, and oops, I can't spell my name. I'm going to put my other person in as that. And then I'm going to show you a data access group here. This would be very typical for a project that would be an intervention study like this. So I'm going to say this is site A. I'm going to add a group for site A and site B. So we've got two sites, and me being the administrator, I get grade boxes, so that's not an option for me. But I'm going to say that this person, who's a data entry person, is allowed to have anybody that's no assignment and site A. but not site B. If they're assigned to site B, this person cannot see that data access group. Okay, go back to project setup, and we're done with both user rights and with data access group. And now it is time for us to see if it works. We're going to find out now if we have any problems. I'm going to start in survey mode. Oh, and we have our first problem. So it tells us what the error is. We have a syntax error in age enrollment. So before we go any further, let's hop this one open and go find age enrollment. This was a calculated field, so this really shouldn't surprise me. And oh, there it is. Okay, so it's missing first event name here for sure. And then visit date, date of birth. So day, month, year. This should be month, day, year. Month, day, year. Huh. I wonder if the other one's going to have a problem too. Let's go take a look at it really quickly while we're here. This has also got the day, month, year going on. So we need month, day, year. Hopefully, yeah, see, because it says month, day, year. So you just want to make sure math makes sense. See, this is month, day, year. So, okay, I'm going to refresh this one and see if it works. And it did. Now, I was a tricky person. I went in and I defaulted. So if you're using my form, there's a whole bunch of defaults in there. So unfortunately, this didn't work because it should say test 01. And you know what? That's my fault. I didn't that wasn't very wise of me, was it? Okay, you cannot default a record that hasn't been created yet. So if you recall, I said in the public survey link last, I don't know, whenever I talked about it last, that you cannot have, like, if there's nothing in the database yet. So you can't, there's no record ID for it to default or go look at or pull or pipe. So this is not going to work. Um, Bummer. Hmm. Do we have another way around that? Is there a smart variable that I can go grab? See, it's not created yet. So I wonder if there's like next. Can I say next? Next label, maybe? It's not next event. Next label? Next record? Is next record an option? That would be really good. Record name is next record? Record name. Record DAG. Darn it. Huh, how are we going to get around this? I don't think we can. That's really not cool. Okay, well, we have to change this. We've got to do something different. So I think I'm going to say first event. I'm going to default it to the first event name. So we're going to pick a record ID and it can't be the same every time, which means we need to default this differently. So I'm going to default it with a smart variable first event name, and then I'm going to come in here and take my default of my value. So what this will do is it's going to say the very first event name. So in this case, it would be visit underscore one underscore intervention underscore one, I think. I don't know. We'll have to go back and look at that in just a moment. And then it's going to say, go look in this event and subject ID and put whatever value is there right here. So let me, just so that I've got it right while we're talking about it. So actually it's visit underscore one underscore arm underscore one. So I guess it doesn't take the name of the whatever you rename the arm. Actually, that's a really good thing. So I'm happy with that. That's cool. Okay, back to our landing page. So unfortunately, we are going to have to pick an ID. So I don't know. Um, I'm a ID. I'm an ID one. Okay, that's way too funny. Unfortunately, it's pulling up as a survey respondent. That's to be expected. Okay, let's pick some items here. And I'm a test. I thought that was pretty catchy. I know. I crack myself up. This person is 9 years old. It populated the date. It put it in month, day, year, and it piped it at the top. And it put my email in here. Please, please, please don't put my email in all of your test ones. I don't want 50,000 emails. Okay, it came over here. Oh, there's nothing there. Okay, so our second thing, error. We're going to come back over here, go to designer, and we're going to go to the participant handout. I have nothing pulled up here. So when I open this, we're going to pretend that there's a file here. And this is a consequence of me uploading a data dictionary. It didn't pull the file with it. So I'm just going to give a pretend one at the moment. And I'll get rid of that because it doesn't really matter. So the way I normally use this page is well, I would normally have a consent form built into everything, and then I would have it auto put the signed consent form right here. And then, you know what we can do? I'll pretend that this landing page is your consent form just so you can see how that works. So in the survey settings, there's one right here that says survey specific email field, designate an email, and then, oh wait, no, that's not it. It says save a PDF. So what you could do is you could say save this, and I want you to save it in this file field, and so it'll make a PDF of that. So let's go back and we're going to do it again. Open a link. I'm on ID 2, and I'm not doing a very good job of clicking buttons here. Another I'm a test, the second one of the day. Submit that. And why did that not work? Huh. Okay, I did something wrong. Let's go back to the designer. I think what I did wrong is I chose the wrong one. I did. That wasn't very wise of me. So I wonder if that's gonna be a problem down here. Let's remove that because I don't want to accidentally do that. So we'll disable that there. Okay, so when landing page is saved on the first one, it's going to save it in the participant handouts location in the upload field. I would normally do that for my consent form so that my participant has the ability to download a copy of the consent at any time that they wanted. So that's an example of how you would use that. Okay, third time's a charm. Here we go. I'm ID 3, and this time, oops, nope, that's definitely not going to work. Okay, I'm getting older. Yay, it worked. Okay, so my pretend signed consent form is here, and I can download it here. And here's a copy of my pretend form. Now, I know everybody always gets freaked out about this. Upload a new version or remove a file. For something like this is for the participant. You would never use this actual file that is participant facing as your copy of your consent. That's why you use the e-consent framework, and it's not going to be stored in a spot like this. It will be stored in the file repository. This is a copy. So if your participant goes and messes this up, it's okay. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It's theirs. Let them have it. That's my opinion. So I'm going to submit this. It goes to my survey queue, and I'm going to leave this up here. In reality, if I was doing this for real, this would be a bad decision because your person's going to go straight into the next item, and you don't want them to do that. But we're going to pretend I got an email, And I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to fill out my form, which I auto defaulted all of my responses. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to submit it. And now I'm on to day 2 and I got an email and I'm going to go into my form and I'm going to fill my form out again. And then just so that we can have some different values, I'm going to go like that. And we're going to submit it. And then we got an email on day 3 and we said, okay, how are your symptoms today? And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to submit it, my changes. And this participant is done at any time with here. Now, let's say on day 3 that I wanted to go back and get my participant handouts. My email takes me back to my survey queue. I can hit the edit button and I can get back to any of my documents that I want as a participant. Okay, so that worked out nicely on that front, which is good. But it only worked for the intervention side, if you noticed. It did not, that public survey didn't take me to my control. That's because you're not going to be able to do it that way. If you use the public survey link, it can only go with ARM1, so something to take into consideration. Okay, let's go in to number 3 and let's fill out some of the rest of these items. So they have, they're here, and the first thing I want them to do is I'm going to go in and be like, do you have a vaccine? Yes, I do. When did you get vaccinated? I got vaccinated on this day, and I did it at this location. It was my first one. I got this. No, I had no issues. If a new vaccine, oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's a yes. I, that's a silly one. I should have got rid of that one. Okay, so now this is a repeatable form, so now it's got a little plus button here. So I'm going to hit the plus button because I need to say my second dose, which was, in I guess that wouldn't be like here. I don't know, something like that. And I went back to the pharmacy and I got my second dose and I had no problems and I have nothing else to do. So that's that. Now, this repeatable form, if I scroll to the bottom here, you can see that it populated each of my different instances. So if you recall, I said in that optional repeater label to put, the dose, in this case first, the manufacturer, and the date of the dose, which this date is backwards. It's day, month, year. You know what? Those ICH studies, they're tricky little studies. They like to go in backwards order from my brain. Okay, so anyways, this is what happens with repeatable instruments. It puts each instance in a tab down here. You get a plus sign here. If they're all green, they'll all be in the same color. If some of them are yellow or red, it's going to turn them into this blue color here because it'll have a mixed status. Okay, so I have confirmed my person is eligible and um, they have given me information. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say some information for my visit. So, I don't know what any of that is. It's probably going to give me some messed up number. 30. Okay. So I put my calculation here. I piped in my numbers because I like to be able to see what my calculation is and verify that it's doing math correctly. Okay, and now I'm going to talk to my person about their concomitant meds. Are you taking any meds? Medication has been taken. And then I'm going to say, the name of the med and the dose and how, like maybe, how often they do it and indication that's like, condition. Oh, I have it turned on. That's going to be a problem. Okay, that's not going to work right now, which we got to fix that. Con meds. So that was the indication. So that's that bioportal ontology. If that happens to you, it's because you probably used my thing and you need to turn that off. It's not going to work in this instance, unfortunately. It's going to throw an error for me this time around because I have this as marked as required. Then I have a date here that I started and it was not taken for an AE and it is not taken for a medical condition. So there's nothing there. Save exit is going to throw an error. I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to refresh it so that it lets me come back in. It was not very nice to me, was it? There, I'm gonna give it a number. What's the problem here? Oh, ongoing. Uh, yes, it's ongoing. So now in my ConMed, here's Med 1. So the nurses quite often like me to put if it's ongoing or not after it, and then it's easier for them to assess if they need to come back and review it again. So just something for you to think about. I can add another instance up here. I can also come down here and I can say save and add a new instance down here. If you just want to keep moving through your meds that way, you could do that. So you could do whatever you need to do. I'm going to put this as unverified so you can see what the color looks like. You can see that that turned blue because you have one that's unverified. If you're curious as to what is, you can click on it and you can see what's going on there. You can add a new there. You can add a new there. There's all these places you can add a new. You can come down here and you can see that this is the one that's unverified. I can open it up. I can verify it, come to the bottom and change the status. Okay, I'm going to go to my blood sample and I'm going to collect some blood and complete it. I'm going to go to my physical exam. I do know quite a few of you were considering different physical exam options for your study. I recommend you take a look at how I set this one up. It's an interesting way to do it, and I think it's a fairly good option. Although my newest one here, I changed this so it doesn't say yes, no here. Instead, it says was a physical exam performed, and then it's got like complete, targeted, and then no. Okay, so you can say, so these are like your different components of what you may have done if you were doing a targeted exam, and if any abnormalities, then you can say, yes, there was abnormality. So you can say like, I did abdomen and nothing was there. Okay, so what happens here is I've got built in all these, uh, what's that called? Embedded fields that pulls in the questions. So you can say whether the abdominal system was normal or maybe the cardiovascular was abnormal. If it was, then you can come here and you can say what your finding is. You can associate it with an AE and you can give the instance number of the AE if it is. So this assists you in kind of building out what would have been one of those older versions. And then, all your supporting information down here. Okay, very happy with that. I'm going to go to my end of visit checklist. Oh, look at um, my header. Something's wrong with my header here. And let's see here. What is wrong with it? Okay, it's not F_name_registration. This underscore registration is from a different project. So I need to, oh, and look at, it's wrong here too. I must have missed that. I need to remove that here. You know what? We're going to have to pay attention to that on the other ones. Um, I wonder if I missed that somewhere else. End of visit. Okay, so we'll save that and wow. Okay. Well, we'll just pay attention and see if it happens again. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my, I'm gonna refresh this so that I can see if it worked. And it is, it's working now. So my header is working. So you definitely want to pay attention to those kind of things. I did default a whole bunch of stuff here, it looks like. So that's nice. Complete that. And then later on, it's time for my nurses to review it. They come in and it piped in all the information that my participant filled out. And they said, nope, there are no grade threes. And, oh, that's a leftover from, oops, whatever. And I complete that. That's the end of visit 1. Now, it's time to go to visit 2. They show up for visit 2. I would tell you to just like cut and paste out of the other thing, but I built this the way I would normally do this. So it pulled across everything that was a required item. Now, this is kind of an interesting way of thinking about things, but a landing page will help you with keeping in all your information in a reportable event, and so that you don't have to merge um, your rows later on. So I like to go ahead and pull my information ahead for all of these items. I know that you don't have to collect it every time, but it's not about collecting it at this point. This is about having the information in a row for when you need to do things later on. So what has happened here is some of the questions have changed here because they are because this is past visit 1, right? And so, and it pulled across some of the items that would be like consistent across. So that's that. Okay. Uh-oh. Hypertension. Hypertension is hiding, which means that that's going to cause me problems for other places. This is why you test this stuff, guys. Huh. Why? Oh, it's because it's defaulting. We got to get rid of that. Okay. Um, let's see if it'll let me do it. Okay, it did. Lovely. Blood samples. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't want to have to do it on every single one. This is going to be too much. Let's go back to the designate instruments. We don't need blood on these other ones. And we don't need a physical exam. We're just not going to take those on those. We don't need that. That's silly. That'll be an extra if they're sick or something. Okay, let's go back. Let's refresh this. Okay, I know. It's kind of like, why did they even come in? Well, what can I say? Oh, why is this not working? Did it work on the other one? Oh, and this didn't work either. Okay, okay. What's going on there? Huh. Okay. Well, this is why we take a look at these things. I have a feeling it's because it defaulted this. Why did it do that ahead of time? Oh, because of the secondary identifier. Darn it all. Um, man. Okay, well, I am, I am super lazy. I would rather not have my secondary identifier turned on. I would rather come in here and say this so that I can pull my items across. For me, it's more important that my nurses get my data correct than if the secondary identifier it has a mistake in and like you got to weigh your pro con there. I mean, it's really bad if you have a mistake in your secondary identifier, but it is way worse if your nurses mess up the or your CRCs or whoever's collecting the data for you, if they mess up these items. Okay, I want to delete this form and start it over on all three of these because this doesn't make me happy. So I'm going to delete this form. Okay, we're going to start over. Okay, so it pulled these across. That worked. Yay. It pulled this across. That worked. Yay. All of this pulled across. See, I like that. That's what I want. Okay, lovely. Oh, wait, what happened? Why did it do that again? What is it pulling across automatically? Why did it do that? I'm missing something. We've got to go back here for a moment. Let's go to the designer, leave without saving. Let's go back into here, leave without saving. Something is not set up right. First event name. I wonder if it's a previous event name that's causing us havoc. This is a default with the name of the person. Okay. And this is the other one that was defaulting, and that was pulling. Oh, well, we definitely don't want to do. Oh, wait, age and enrollment. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So, hmm. Do I have the wrong event name? That might be what has happened here. First event name. First event. No, that's last event name. First event name. That's what I have. You know what? I wonder if let's try previous event name instead on these. There was I wonder if this is the version. There was a bug in a few of these that um was so this is going to look at the current one. So oh, but it didn't work. So why not? Let's do that because I guess the date of birth wouldn't be there. Huh. Okay. I guess we'll try that. It's not happy about something probably. Test, that's fine. MRN, that's fine. I want to pull across the correct race. That works. Ethnicity. I think this might be a bug in first event name. I remember it got fixed somewhere along the way, but we're in a training instance. It's very likely possible that, oh, event label. Is that right? Yeah, okay, that works. It's very possible it just we messed that up. That's today, that works. Subject ID, let's go previous. So I have a feeling it worked on the first one because it was pulling the last one, but this time it's not pulling the first one. So I think that's what's occurring at the moment. Although it worked up here. I don't know. We're gonna try this. Okay. Let's see here. Back in here. Okay, so the reason I keep deleting this when it's read like this is because it like auto populated something, but it can't do a default a second time. That it can't run that a default after it's already run a default. So I probably should be using like prefill instead, but I haven't gotten used to that one. So I don't. There's probably a better action tag at this point. I'm used to at default. So it worked this time for this one, and let's see if it pulled across the next, and this one didn't populate, so that's good. Okay, hopefully record number 2 doesn't give us these kind of problems. Okay, and then we're going to pretend to do visit 2, and we forgot to turn that into a completed record. Med history. Oh, we were supposed to do this on the first person. Oops. We're just gonna use some of these pieces here. There we go. Done. And then here's your medical history for this person. Okay. Let's pretend if there was an adverse event, you would come in and you could complete this form, and then, you know, you would also get an adverse event item down here. Same thing with protocol deviations. Um, I actually got rid of most of the questions that are in this form for this example. I didn't want to have to deal with having to put in a whole bunch of information. Okay, so that is kind of how that works. Now, let me show you what would occur if you wanted to have an additional form. So let's just pretend we had an entirely new instance. So here is this entire instance. If I wanted to delete the whole instance, I could hit the delete button down here. If I have the rights to do that, I could come down here and I can delete the entire record or do some kind of special things. I can lock the whole record if I have those rights. I can download PDFs of things. Um, this is a newer feature, which is nice. You can download a zip of all of the functions. Okay, so let's pretend I wanted to add an entirely new instance. So now I've got extra instance 1 and extra instance 2. I need to give it some information so that it'll show up on my export. There we go. Now, the last thing that I feel really important to kind of put together is this record management. So record management is for you, the data manager, to kind of help you um, like maneuver all what's happening to this record, right? So there's two things you kind of need to know. If it's what's the status of the participant, and you need to have this in a single place. I have these people that like put it in multiple locations and you can't figure out the status at any given moment in time. Like if I were to look at the record today, right now, what's the status of the person? And so, are they eligible enrolled? Are they screened but not eligible? So that's like a screen fail. Have they withdrawn from the study? You can decide what your status choices are, but you need to know that. The second thing that's really important is what is the status of the record? So just because the participant might be withdrawn or like what's happening to the record itself. If I go and I have a push of some kind, like an alert that I set up, do you want it to go because this record's active, or do you want it to not push? Don't ever push anything for this record. It's an inactive record. And there's all kinds of scenarios where this is like this on-off switch for your record would be needed and necessary. If you were to kind of move it where you wanted to like attach it to something else, then you could have it here. I like a connector kind of piece. So that's how that would be used. Um, so that is our first one, and we need a lot more so that we can do some other things. So let's come over here and we're going to export our data. We're going to do it in the raw format. We're going to totally cheat and make us some extra people. So let's open her up. Now, wow. Okay, here's record 1. Here's record 2. Here is record 3. Huh. Okay. So, um, you might not want to do it this way because you might get yourself in trouble here. So, but I'm going to do it this way. So, I just made 13 records for visit 1. And I need to get rid of the timestamp because you can't upload a timestamp and you cannot upload a survey identifier. So those are not allowed. And I need to fix this because our IDs can't go that way. You would never actually like this is something you would you would never falsify items this way for a study that would be like this. Okay, so these are all visit ones, and we need some different data here. So we're going to make some people of different races, and we're going to make some different sexes. And I don't really care about the names of the people here, but I am going to care about their age. That's going to be tough. Let's see here. Let's just change some years. Actually, this one's going to be tough. Let's see here. Um, oh, they're all going to have the same birthday. This is like a cohort of people with the same birthdays, but different years. I don't know. It's, it's a COVID study from who knows what. This person's like 90 years old, 92. Um, Nobody from their 40s. Okay, I don't want to upload their birthday because that would not work so well for me. I do want it to be green, so I'm going to leave that the way it is. And I'm totally going to cheat on this. We're going to make it so that they all got the same drug on the same days. Maybe not all of them, just some of them. I just want some data. I just want a little data. Okay, let's see here. Now I need, so that was visit 1. I need a visit 2 and a visit 3. Darn it all. Okay, so, um, this isn't going to work because this stuff here is supposed to pull across. So let's not do that for those. That's not going to work so hot for me. I'm going to get myself in trouble. Okay. These people are going to just basically have the exact same data. I have to come over here and I've got to get rid of the the timestamp for what happened here? Oh, none of that data was collected. Okay. I need to get rid of the timestamp for uh, f- uh, the diaries, the e-diaries. So here, I need to get rid of this. And I need to get rid of the timestamp for the next diary, which is right here. And I need to get rid of the next diary, which is right here. Nope, not that one. This one, yes, this one. And I also, I don't think there's a diary timestamp for this one. Okay. Okay. Let's just save and see where that left us. Am I in the right one? So I am. I'm in the longitudinal build. I'm going to go to my imports. And I'm going to choose a file. Go find my file. Fingers crossed. Darn it. Oh, oops. 9, 11, and 12. 9, 11, and 12. Okay. Not bad considering this is not a very good way to do this. Probably should give you guys data. No. It's going to take a while. This is the worst part of testing is you got to add some data. Um, okay, good. We got 1 through 13. So that's good news. Now we need to just like open and close some of these so that so we get some data here. That's what needs to happen. I just need to open a few of these. I just need some data. So I'm opening these in a new tab. I'm going to go through and I'm just going to save them the way they are. And it's going to leave red dots, but I'm okay with that. So save and exit, save and exit, save and exit. This is why I auto defaulted all that stuff because I am a fairly lazy person when it comes to some of these items. So the good news is it should have pulled across my correct date of birth if I did this right. Let me refresh this. Okay, that's a good news. Let's just make sure. Does this work? No, darn it. Does this work? Hey, I like that. Okay, I can do that. Let's go back to our record page and we're going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to open and I'm going to save and close so I can get myself some data. Would probably be best if you can occasionally like change the data because you want to be able to pull something. I don't know. That would be bad. I mean, obviously, if you're doing this for real, you need to like test all the possible scenarios that your patient might end up having. The point of testing is that you can see if it works the way you want it to work. I I'm I am kind of not completely doing that at the moment. Um, because I'm just trying to get some data so I can get you guys to the next step. Um, okay. Let's refresh this and I think, we're doing great, man. Okay. Open this one and then we need to open these. Do you see these visit dates are not coming across and the visit labels are not coming across in the piping? That's because I've gone out of order for this whole thing. So it's not happy with me and I don't blame it. It's my fault. I'm just gonna, it is what it is. It's okay. But these are the kinds of things you need to be looking for when you're testing. Okay, let's refresh. And I'm gonna call myself happy with this one, except for I need some of these to be decided so that I can show you the next piece. Okay. So we need most people to be active, but maybe somebody to be inactive. think if it was me, I probably would have fast forwarded through most of this so I didn't have to watch someone else input all that data. Okay, I'm gonna call myself happy with this. I'm just trying to show you how that works. Let's build ourselves a report. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to hit that. Um, okay, create a custom report. And this is all my active people. And I just want to know their subject ID. And you know what? I'm gonna do this entire section here because I want you to maybe see something if I can. Let's see here. Um, and then I want to know if they're active or not. So we're gonna come down here and do their status. Okay, and then here I want to know status. Record status has to be not equal to inactive. This is an important one because this gets me the blanks. So if it was blank, and it also gets me the actives. So by putting it not equal to inactive, I'm getting the other two. And I want to make sure that I get the blanks in the event I have forgotten to do that. And then the other thing, I want them to not be, they have to be eligible. So if they're not eligible and enrolled, I don't want them in my list. So equal to eligible and enrolled and equal to that. And I could filter by my DAG if I wanted to here, or I could filter like, specific components here. I'm gonna say the entire thing and I want it done by the record ID. So let's view that. And you can see here it gets a little messy because like here's visit 3 has an intervention, but you can see this is missing the data. That's because the landing page wasn't completed on that particular visit. And that is why it's so important to build out your previous instruments so that you don't get yourself in a situation like this. Because this line here is problematic. You have to do a lot of data cleaning later on if you don't pull your data across. You don't have to do that all the time, but it is something just to keep in the back of your mind. So these are gray here because they're not asked in those instruments, but they are asked in this instrument, and you can kind of quickly run through and just take a look at who is here and who's not here. Now, let's say that I wanted just a unique list of the people that were active and enrolled, and so I don't want it to have a longitudinal list with multiple like lines here. You see these lines? So what if I came in here and I said, you know what, I want a live filter, and in my live filter, I want to do my event, and I want to be able to do my data access groups. So those are my two live filters. So I could come in here and I could view report and I could say, I want to look at only intervention 1. So now I have 9 records instead. And so you can see one line per record. So here's, person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4. Oh, well, actually, uh, looks like person 2 through 4 are either not eligible or they're inactive. So those statuses make a difference there, right? So that's part of that filtered component there. And then let's say that I wanted to look in the stats and charts. I could come over here and I can say, okay, so out of the people, how many were seen in clinic, everybody? How many of them are male and how many of them are childbearing female? Now, this is really interesting because I wonder how many of those 4 childbearing female are above the age where they would be or maybe under the age, because I wasn't paying attention when I was doing those ages. So I bet there's someone out there that's like this 91-year-old. Who is that? Is that a that would be quite humorous. It is a childbearing female. Oops. I think it would be a rather interesting. How many people completed the survey? All 9 of these people. They are very 100% compliance there. Very excited about that. Okay, so I have let's make sure that I have done all. What am I supposed to be showing you if I'm supposed to do the data quality module? Maybe here. Let me think about this for a moment. Okay, I do want to come over here and I want to show you um, the data quality module for a moment. And I do want to show you some locking. So let's start with the data quality module. On the left-hand side, if I look at the data quality module, so these are kind of rules that are already in the set in here that you can execute to take a look at your overall database and help you do some spot cleaning or analysis of something that might be discrepancies that might be occurring that you might not be aware of. So one of the worst things you can do right here is doing missing values, because I'm going to show you, I bet there's more than 10,000. Oh, okay. Okay. If it won't go over 10,000, maybe I should put it that way. I probably don't have enough fields in here, but look, I have 951 missing value fields. So if I click on this view item, I can see, well, this record here inside this particular one, it's missing data. Well, of course it's missing data. That's because it's no temperature day one and the person did collect the data. So this is supposed to be missing data. But maybe I don't want it to say missing data. Maybe I want to come over here and I want to say, look at, wait a minute, this person really is missing data. How did that happen? Oh, maybe because I didn't fill it out. What a concept. Did I? I didn't. Okay. Okay. So this person really is missing data. But what I could do is, here, I'm going to show you one more thing. So if you go to project setup and we go back to that additional um, components there, here's missing data codes that we can set up. So we can put in here no information and we can say maybe not applicable. So those are two really good ones. And these are just like codes that would be in here, and in the event you had missing data, you could come in here and put it there. So let's go back over to this record number 1 and I'll show you how that might work. So here is where our first one is. And now you've got this record here. So we could mark this as no information. Like they did not fill it out. I don't have the information, right? So it's no longer going to be a missing field. It's marked in the database as an I. And then you're not going to get a oh, wait a minute. So you could technically put the redness on. Let's clear that. So this would be redness has not been measured because it was not measured. And this is the swelling was not measured because it was not measured. And temperature not measured. So those are like we built that component in there for the ability to do that. Okay, so now if I were to come back over here to my data quality module and I were to execute this again, those numbers are now gone. And if I were to look at this, that now it's got day 2, but day 1 is now missing. So that's kind of nice. And I can exclude it if I needed to, or whatever it is you need to do. So this is kind of an example of looking for missing values. This one here is a little tough because it's always going to have a high number. But maybe you want to look at just the required fields. Well, I think they're almost all required. So now you can see here, maybe you can look at it per your sites. None of mine are attached to a DAG. I probably should show you how to do that. So let's go back over to record status dashboard and do that. So let's go back here to 1, and this person is not attached to a DAG. I want to do that. There are DAGs that I have put in here, so I could assign this person to a site. So this person is now in site A. That means that anybody that is from site B cannot see this record, and the people that are site A can see this record. So let's go ahead and do that for a few more of these. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to export. Here, I'm going to give this one a DAG2 just so that I know what it looks like, or a DAG-B, whatever that is, site B. And then I'm going to export my I just want to export my landing page and only for my first one. Because once I get it in one, it will go across to the others automatically. So I don't want to mess it up. So I'm gonna go like this. I'm just gonna go like that. I just want to assign some. Okay, and then I don't want to add any of this stuff, so I'm just assigning DAGs to people. Um, Normally when you go add edit record and you add a record, if you are part of a DAG, it's going to it's going to put a DAG onto that person automatically. If you're not part of a DAG, it's going to give a no access DAG. I am admin, so unfortunately it's not going to do it for me. I have to manually do it. That's probably not going to be the case. Well, it might be the case for you guys. It just kind of depends on if you're in a one DAG or not. Okay, so let's go back over here to this data quality tool now. And you can see if I were to come here and say, look at here, I can see site A has 216 that are missing required fields and site B has 250. So maybe I want to look and see if there's outliers. There's 5 outliers. That's a little bit more manageable to me. I guess this one had an age requirement built in. Who knew? And so this 91-year-old is just out of bounds. Gotta feel bad for I'm a test 12. So we're gonna exclude this because that's just not fair. Everybody should get a chance. And let's see here. You could download or upload rules. These A through I are rules that are like pre-established rules. A really good one to know is incorrect value for fields, so executed fields. And 0, yay, everything's working. That's good. Missing fields containing data codes. It's going to be like, oh, let's take a look. Oh, these are this is the ones that I went in and I put there was no information there, so missing fields. So that's a nice one. So there's a few different options here. Now you can add your own rule, and so let's see if we can figure out how to make a rule here. So we're going to go to the code book and we are going to make a rule that says, tell me all the people, let's see here. I don't know. What kind of rule do I want? Well, I mean, you can do your eligibility rules if that you've got something that, has some kind of ins or outs for that. Those are really good rules to have. You can do age required rules. Those are good to have. I'm gonna do one where the landing page, although that's been completed for everybody. Huh. How about I do one where this is kind of a problem because this is where I went and I didn't do a very good job. Hmm. Okay, we got to do something on landing page because there's not many choices here um since I didn't do some crazy like choice. Man, this is where it's problematic if you chose not to go through and try each of your options. We'll try ethnicity, I guess. I don't know another option. So I can come in here and I can say if ethnicity is blank is equals blank, then I want a rule to be done. And so so here this is ethnicity equals blank. So this is like this is your common words. Like what would you call this? What are you going to call? I'm going to say ethnicity equals blank. And this is how you would actually do it. And you could execute it real time. I'm not going to. So now what it does is the rules A through I, the lettered rules are the predefined ones and your numbered rules are your rules. So I want to execute this and I got 24 of them. Why do I have 24 of them? visit 3, arm 1. So it looks like maybe visit 3, maybe it's because I don't, visit 3 and arm 1 must have some pieces missing. Let's go back and look really quickly if that's true. Um, yeah, it's true. Darn it. Mm. Well, that's why you have the data quality rule. Okay, so this is the data quality rule, and you can do all kinds of special functions here. So the next thing that I really think I need to show you how to do with the data quality rule is, and it looks like it's not turned on. So let's go turn on in project setup under additional customizations. Towards the bottom here is one that's called workflow. Where is workflow? Well, we'll do that one and see if that works. But the query, we're missing the query. Huh. Okay, well, I think we can go the other direction from it and see if we can get it to work from that direction. So let's say we're here and you have a question about this and you wanted to see the history and you wanted to be like, what's going on here? Why in the world did you do something? You still can't do it. Why not? Where's the custom? Um, I wonder, I wonder if it's a user right issue. I think a lot of you are going to want this one. I'm not sure where it's at. I might have to go and talk to the admins about getting it turned on so I can show you because it looks like it's missing here too. So we're going to have to put that one on hold. Good news, don't need it for your project. But you can have a comment log here, but I don't have any comments. Probably should have you add that to at least one of your records so that I can see that you know how to do that. So come in here, pick a record, and put a comment. So that I can see that you know how to do that. And then your logging comments are over here, so you can come and you can see, you know, that Baker put a comment on this day at this time and this particular one, and here's my comment. Um, so this is part of your metadata that goes with that variable. Okay, I think that we have done all of our required items for the longitudinal build. Let's come in here. We tested it and let's move it to production. Now, I know a lot of you were having challenges with the move to production issue. So if you hit move to production and then you say, I agree, there's a button here that says keep all data and save the data so far. And then it'll say, yes, move to production status. It is very, very, very likely that it's going to pop up a thing that says that it's waiting for the administrator. If you can do that, that's fine. That's great. If you cannot get it moved into production, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt us to not be in production. And I am going to say that's the end of our longitudinal build. Good luck, everyone. Let me know if you need assistance.